All right, Nick, let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. This is a team we've been talking about for a while here. I think the Seahawks are a very, very talented unit, but some people might not give them the credit they deserve. But we have an article today talking about exactly how good this Seattle team is and how good of a team they've put together this offseason, whether it's through free agency or the draft. I think the Seahawks fans are really going to love this one.
Miles, I agree with you 100%. It's a great report you dug up that highlights specifically why Seattle will be so dangerous going into 2023. But before we look to the future, let's take a step back and look back at the past in Seahawks history. And that leads me into my question for Seattle fans to answer, as always, in the comment section below. In your opinion, who is the greatest linebacker in Seahawks history? There's a couple interesting names that I think would be quality targets, but give me the one guy you think is the greatest linebacker in Seahawks history and put that guy in the comment section below. And make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to hear word from our partner of today's video, and that is Neuro. Neuro's got a lot of great products that gives you a fast and easy energy boost. We love their mints and their gums. It gives us the energy we need to get this content, to produce the Seahawks content. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to learn more about Neuro and to get access to our special discount code. All right, Miles, what you got? What's the latest out of Seattle?
Yes, Nick. So I'm going to get into the first part and then I'll bring up the article. So this is a little bit of a lead in. This was over on fieldgoals.com. Kind of an interlude, kind of brought my attention to this article. But earlier this week, NFL.com's Eric Edholm released a list of his 10 most complete teams in the league. So this is complete teams, full up on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Obviously, this is based off of overall roster quality and includes rookie draft picks. And unsurprisingly, Nick, at the head of the pack were the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. The New York Jets were the only non-playoff team for 2022 to crack the top 10, coming in at number 8, Nick. But right behind them, none other than the Seattle Seahawks at the number 9 spot. And I want to get into Edholm's breakdown right now. Over on NFL.com is where this breakdown was at, because I think it's really interesting and it's finally showing some light on how good this Seattle unit is. But let's get into that, Nick. Finding a resurgent Geno Smith was a big development, and the past 2 draft classes have replenished the talent at several spots, including running back, the offensive line, and the secondary. Smith arguably could have one of the top 3 wide receiver trios in the league with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and 2023 first rounder Jackson Smith-Njigba. The running back combo of Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet might prove to be excellent. There's some roles to figure out along the offensive line, but it's a fairly young and fairly solid unit all of a sudden. At the defensive tackle, the Hawks made additions with veterans Draymond Jones and Jaron Reed, along with 4th rounder Cameron Young through the draft. But is that enough? One more veteran might do the trick, but the options might be pretty lean at this stage of the offseason. They also could be a little lean and veteran heavy at linebacker, but the return of 8-time Pro Bowler Bobby Wagner is a reason to be hopeful. The secondary might not be quite ready to be the Legion of Boom 2.0 status, but there's a lot to like about the potential of the top 4 cornerbacks and guys like Tariq Woolen, Devon Witherspoon, Kobe Bryant, and Mike Jackson, along with a well-paid safety trio, Nick, Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, and Julian Love. That can make this unit one of the league's best in time. So, Nick, I think Edholm brings up a lot of great points talking about how they have an excellent receiving core, a young and talented offensive line that can only grow from where they are now, great running backs, good quarterback play, good D-line, good linebackers, good safeties, good corners. Everything on this unit for the Seahawks has something to talk about and something to look forward to. So I am complete agreement with Edholm right here, just talking about how talented this Hawks roster could be. I'm curious, though, what are your thoughts on this breakdown, and what do you think about Seattle being named one of the most complete rosters?
Yeah, so we talked about the Seahawks a lot this offseason. They made a lot of big moves, a lot of really smart moves. But I think looking and taking a step back now, looking at the culmination of the offseasons, and you look at the roster and you listen to this guy's report, and it just makes sense. And then in a lot of ways, I feel like the Seattle Seahawks are being disrespected a little bit, because obviously you have the teams like the Eagles and the Chiefs, like the report highlighted as, the top 2 rosters in the NFL. But if you look at what the Seahawks have done and where they currently sit today, they're right up there with anybody. And some people don't even understand, because you have guys like additions like Mario Edwards on the defensive line, a young talented guy in Boye Mafe, who I really like coming out of school. those guys would be starters or key players on a lot of other teams. Those are depth players. Those are rotational pieces for the Seattle Seahawks. Their secondary is ridiculously stacked. I mean, they've got 7 top flight players in that secondary between the 4 corners and 3 safeties. They can cover anybody. Linebacker and core, I think Bobby Wagner will have a little bit of resurgence. They've got talent there. Offensive line is awesome. We talked about Oluwatimi a lot. I think he's going to come in and win the starting job at center. Wide receiver, running backs, all young, all talented. Geno Smith had an awesome season. There's no reason to think he'll regress. Great coach, great organization. They check every box, every position on the field. If this was a team, if this was the Chiefs, if this was the Eagles, or if this was an East Coast team, let's say the Steelers, right? The Steelers, they're kind of a younger team. If they had a roster like this, it would be front page news. No one would shut up about how great the Steelers are and how dominant they're going to be. But I guess there's a little West Coast bias here, because you look at the Seahawks, they are scary good at almost every position on the field. They're young, they're talented, they're athletic. They have enough key veterans, enough leadership, enough championship experience to kind of round out some of those young guys as well. This Seahawks team is a lot better than people think right now. I think they're going to be deadly. And I would not be surprised at all if they actually win the NFC West, because we all know the 49ers, their quarterback situation is dicey at best right now. The Seahawks are much more stable than the 49ers, and they're also younger. I would not be surprised at all if the Seahawks win the division. That's how good this roster is. All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.